Welcome to Because It's Comics. With 5 new releases, I break down the art and the story and give you genuine and thoughtful ratings between 0 or 5 stars. Let's get into some reviews.
Fashion. The drip god himself, Little Uzi Vert, would approve.
Who the is Little Uzi Vert? It is 1997.
Oh, shit, I forgot I was supposed to stop that nigga from being born in 1995. Hip hop heads gonna be confused as fucking 30 years.
Don't be a
For our first review, we have Uncanny X-Men number 16 with writer Gail Simone and artists David Marquez and Luciano Vecchio. Issue 16 finishes up Uncanny X-Men's Dark Artery storyline. Initially, I enjoyed the beginning and the midpoint of this story. However, the ending for this story fell flat in my opinion. Let's talk about the art first. The art in the issue was drawn well enough. The characters that are depicted look like characters that would possibly appear, at the start of the book, that would appear in like an X-Men 97 episode. There were 2 artists on this book. So you do notice the contrast between the 2. There's a lot of dark hues, a lot of blacks, to create a sense of solemnness and dread throughout each panel. And it does add, in some sense, a different sense of character to the book altogether. However, like I said earlier, one of the problems with this issue alone is that a lot of loose ends are wrapped up too quickly. We get introduced to this great antagonist or sort of anti-hero type character. And while throughout the first 3 issues of the arc, we get a lot of background or exposition on this character, it just feels like there could have been more depth added to who they were, and why it was important for that particular character to appear just in this story, I guess. So I credit that to a lot of Gail Simone. While I am a fan of her writing, this, I felt like she could have really added a new lore or a new storyline that would have taken the X-Men overall as a book into other directions. With that said, I give Uncanny X-Men number 16 2 stars.
Look what a lot of this. Y'all order the pizza?
Superman, where the fuck my money at, bro?
Nigga, what money?
Nigga, what money? Nigga, my money, motherfucker. Like, I ain't got time to play dumb with your ass today, nigga.
But I don't owe you.
AEIOU. Sometimes why, nigga? Yeah, we know Val's good job, but we talking about you owing
Man,
me.
look, I don't know what you talk about. You can bounce to that
Man, don't
goofy
get
shit.
your ass beat in front of your whole squad, bro.
Hold on now, I got my squad with me. We'll beat your ass right here.
You need to pay him.
Superman, you need to chill, cause I ain't jumping in, my
Listen
nigga.
to your little bitch ass team, man. No reason for you to get fucked up today, dog. Just pay me my money and we'll be square,
Fuck that
bro.
square shit, square up, nigga. I don't owe
Nigga, you
you
better
shit.
take all that assertiveness out your voice. Y'all better get your voice.
Nigga, you better
Look,
chill.
bro, I ain't got time to play with you all day, bro. Have my shit in a week, my nigga. Hey, also, if you don't have it, bro, I'm really gonna beat the fuck out of you. Like, you not gonna be able to fuck no more. You won't have a desire. So if you want your dick to work, just pay my money. All right, pussy niggas.
Next book up for review is New History of the DC Universe #1 with writer Mark Waid and art by Todd Knock and Jerry Ordway. New History of the DC Universe is a great issue for readers not familiar with the history and lore of the DC Universe and its characters. The issue is more of a chronicle than a story per se, but it does start off in an interesting way using the story format. In this issue, Mark Waid does a good job of summarizing roughly about 85 years of the DC Comics storytelling and a lot of the major players that were involved throughout its history. What I will say about this book is that it's probably not for like the casual reader or casual comic reader, or maybe it is. I don't. The only reason I say that is, unless they really want to get deeply into the machinations and all the intricate details of the DC universe. This book is meant to just do what its title has indicated and give you that history. The art is good throughout the book. This reminds me of a similar book that was written by John Ridley called The Other History of the DC Universe. Check it out. But anyway, as far as this issue goes, I think those readers that want to know more about all the characters and, like I said earlier, all the nuances, a little bit of nuances for these characters, and get an introduction to some new characters as well. This is a great place to start. With that said, I give New History of the DC Universe #1 3 stars.
This is it. When Grodd took control of your mind a couple of years ago, even though that connection was broken, he left a psychic resonance. Yeah, I know.
Artificial gravity off.
Speed's no good without gravity.
That's where you're wrong.
Artificial gravity on.
Next book up for review is Mr. Terrific Year 1, Number 2, with writer Al Letson and art by Valentin D. Landro and Edwin Galman. In issue 2, we get an origin story of sorts for Mr. Terrific, Michael Holt. And there's a cool cameo appearance by the Spectre. The story gives an in-depth look into why Michael Holt becomes Mr. Terrific. However, as a caution for sensitive readers, this issue does deal with themes of self-harm. The story dialogue is heavy, but is warranted. Also in issue 2, the book continues using the art device of transitioning between past and present experiences of the character. Edwin Galman uses a more modern style that is used, I guess, more commonly in today's era of the comics. Valentin Delandro, goes for a style of using blocky line art with heavy use of shades to emphasize the subjects drawn, their mood, and their emotions. The only negative I have for this issue is that the intro to the story feels like there needs to be more payoff on how they contribute to the overall narrative. But all in all, I have to say I'm thoroughly enjoying Mr. Terrific Year 1. And I'd recommend those that are anticipating the upcoming Superman movie to take a look at this, just to get a general feel of who Mr. Terrific is. With that said, I give Mr. Terrific Year 1, Number 2, 3 stars.
I can't feel my legs. I think my arm is broken. Sorry. My mommy.
Next book up for review is Hyde Street number 7, with writer Jeff Johns and art by Ivan Reis and Danny Miki. For issue number 7, Ivan Reis is back, and the Hyde Street art returns to its menacing form. Jeff Johns gives us a short but intriguing tale of horror that is both satisfying and interesting. I've said this before in other reviews, but the art that Reese brings in his issues is like a character just by itself. It doesn't take away from John's storytelling, but it definitely adds more depth to it. Also in this issue, we get further insight into the pranky Peabody character, as well as story progress regarding Mr. X-Ray's larger ploy. I enjoy High Street because while it's not over the top or reaching for over the top violent horror, it does take sort of a Twilight Zone approach to horror in comics. This is definitely one of those books I recommend putting on a pull list every month, as long as the art remains consistent. Um, I think this will be one of those comics that will be treasured for a long time. With that said, I give High Street, issue number 7, 5 stars.
What the fuck is my food up?
Is that not what you ordered, sir?
Why the fuck would I order empty plates?
Of course, you would never order empty plates, but we just set 14 plates full of colossal amounts of
Yo,
food.
but that was the appetizer.
What?
Where's the main course?
Sir, there is no more food.
What the fuck are you talking about?
That was literally all of the food we had in the kitchen.
Hey, what the fuck? What am I supposed to eat?
I did think of that, Mrs. Fisk. Don't worry. I did find the end of some oat loaves of bread that I
So the booty part of the bread.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Didn't I just ask you if there was any food left?
That technically.
And you just lied to me and said there was no food left.
Well, there
I don't eat booty.
What are you?
You telling me I don't eat booty?
I don't know what you don't eat, sir.
And that is the correct answer. But you
Great.
fired.
Last book up for review is Ultimate Spider-Man, number 18, with writer Jonathan Hickman and art by Marco Cicchetto. If you've been following my reviews for a while, you're aware that Ultimate Spider-Man is one of my favorite books right now. Cicchetto does a great job with visuals. The world he draws surrounding the character feels pseudo-realistic in a familiar way. When the character needs to appear small or larger than life and intimidating, he hits it on the mark. And speaking of the art, there's an out of sight splash page in this issue. And yeah, I used Gemini to find me a synonym for cool that was used in the 60s, just to make sure you're paying attention. But Cicchetto's art is what makes this book have a certain flair. You miss him when he's gone, but you appreciate when he is doing the sketches for the issue. There's a lot of debate about the pacing of Ultimate Spider-Man, and I think I have a take on that. I believe that the story Jonathan Hickman is telling is consistent with its pacing. But something that did occur to me in this issue is that since the inception of the title, every issue has read like small pieces of a novel for the past 18 months. And I don't believe Hickman is following the traditional method of having different arcs or side stories that comics generally follow. So a trade paperback read for some readers may be a better solution, as they may feel like chapter to chapter detailing of this overall story. Because I believe when Hickman finishes with his larger story, there's more than likely going to be an omnibus to give it that completed novel outcome. And that's not to say you can't criticize that, because if you're not used to that um, in comic books, I can understand the distaste for that method. But all in all, in my opinion, I'm enjoying this book, like I said earlier. And I believe that once Hickman is done with his run, we will have um, a great tale of Spider-Man in a different light. With that said, I'm giving Ultimate Spider-Man number 18 4 stars. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the video and what you'd like to see me cover next. And always remember, if you find yourself asking, why they do that? It's because it's comics, man.